Welcome to Lost in the Lakes, and today we're on a wild camp and we're going up there. Welcome to Lost in the Lakes, where you get brews, reviews, but best of all, views. Right, so this one, Carrock Fell. I put in the sat nav and took a sort of last minute choice, and I seen the steep incline going up there, and I just looked at it now and it's a bit of a push up there. At least it'll get us up high, eh? I once did a video coming round here and came off and had a look at these little dips in the ground here. It's like an old mining place or something. Oh, someone's took a lot of stone out of it, and it'll be a great little winter camp. Literally park up on the roadside and there you go, and we're out in the middle of nowhere if you have a look. So right, I think I'll be stripping off very quickly. I'm getting warm already. So that's what we've got to go up, and yeah, that's going to be interesting. Well, 2 minutes later, I've already stripped off to my base layer. Oh, it's been gorgeous this past week. Last camp, as you've seen, it's an absolute washout, and it's been lovely ever since. And I was hoping that this day would stay nice. It's been a little bit more overcast, but as you can see, we've got a bit of clear. I think in the morning, if I get up early enough, it might be clear as well. So we're going up this little section here. The map's actually working today. I was I was looking at the Talkie Toaster maps. I always say, good value for money. But I was toying with getting a Garmin UK map. I thought they'd stop doing the sort of regional areas. They used to do one that was like the national parks and stuff like that, but now they're doing regional. So when you go on the website and click on UK, that £350 map, but you can actually break it down into regions, but it's still £150. So I thought it's probably worth staying with the Talkie Toasters and making sure that it was just a freak thing, that why they weren't working. I was having trouble with it last week as well. But today, up this scree path, it seems to be working. So forgive me if I sound out of breath, but I mean, these are the options you've got over here, up there, and that's just vertical cliff. And we're going off to the left. I think this is more of a climber's scramble to get down from these cliffs here, because I do know some of these are climbed. You can see the telltale footpaths going to the base of the climbs, and that one there looks really inviting to climb, So I think this is why this path here exists. But we've got it on the map. We can navigate on it. And there we go, look. Navigation. And we're going to hit one steep scree section in a minute. This bit's not so bad, but we've got no other choice now. Set off a bit too late on this one. It's 6 o'clock and sundown in 2 hours. So I'm going to at least have to get up there and find somewhere first. And when I was coming over, the wind was picking up a little bit as well. So I think quite possibly might have gusts of up to 30 mile an hour. But at the moment, there's nothing at all. But that's not to say it's all up there waiting for us. You know, we could be shaded. I did think the wind was coming from that direction. Let's just have a look. We'll get a compass up here from the east. So yes, literally that direction. Now, if that was the wind direction, then we're plain sailing, we're clear. But I know what these fells are like. Things hit stuff, move around and go around places, and the wind just finds its way around somehow. So we're coming up to this scramble here. I always say with scrambles, it's always 2 paces equals 1. And with a vertical, I don't know if you can pick that up, but the scramble's just there. So we're on at least a 45-degree angle, possibly even steeper. Again, looking at the map of Carrock Fell, I know Carrock Fell, but I've never been up Carrock Fell. But again, looking at the map and the photos and everything, there's a bench up there, so we can chill out, sit on a bench. And a fort, an old I was going to say Roman fort, but reading up on it, it got flattened by the Romans, and that's why there's just walls left. And I think this was in the day when, so it's a Cumbrian fort, I would have thought. You know, we lived up mountains, we seeked high ground. And you know, if you imagine, if you got Romans coming over, all these flatlands, all over here you've got Roman roads. So if you were a hill-going Cumbrian, where would you go? Like up there, eh? Out of the way. But apparently the Romans came up and got them. Right, here we are. This is the start of the scramble. Oh. Okay, as far as screes go, it's actually not bad. It's quite steppy on the inside of here, if you can see going up there. It's obviously you need to look where you're going, but that horrible scree stuff there, if you were walking on that, it'd be an absolute nightmare. This one, I've brought my sticks with me, just because I think coming down here, especially if it rains overnight, I think it'll be a bit of a pain in the butt. Just gonna go a bit off to the right here. So I was out this morning, climbed up Skidder, if anyone knows that fell, and went down Ullock Pike, and I'm back out again, so my legs are feeling it a little bit today. I did have a thing I was going to go for a low one, but with the weather the way it is, I can't not get up there, because we're going to be less and less of these nights where we can actually get up some decent height and get some views. Literally, look already. I love this part of the Lake District. You kind of get used to where you live. Where I live, I'm certainly used to the views around it, but there's a little path off there. I think that's like a little climbing path, and we're going to take this one. I think I've done the crux of the walk now. Yeah, so you get used to the views of where you live, and albeit it's still a beautiful place, when you go somewhere where it's a different terrain, you appreciate what it is. And for me, this sort of low-lying rolling hills, I love it. So nice. But again, when I go in the lakes, I mean, I'm in the lakes now, but when I go deep into the lakes, it's such a different atmosphere. Yeah, this is definitely a steep one, all the way up. The walk to the top of the fell from where I parked, it's only 1 mile, but you're climbing 800 feet as well. Or 800 meters, I can't remember. Oh, let's have a little look, eh? Say 15 minutes to the top. It thinks I'm on a nice easy walk. But you've got that there, eh? Look how steep it is. Okay, let me just bring up the right half a mile. We're at 1,100 feet already. So I think up to the top there, 2,100 feet. So we're halfway in height. Let's see if we can get to the trip computer. Right, ETA 6:45. So we're pushing it. Should really have set off about half an hour earlier, but we've got to get used to these darker nights. And obviously steep inclines like this. Right, okay, so we've got 0.7 of a mile to go. So we're still, I'm just gonna have a look at the map and zoom out. Okay, so we've got some more steepness coming. And it's gonna level off to the top of Carrock Fell. So, I'll bring you back when I'm a bit higher, or if there's any other events. Kind of see where I'm parked down there. Okay, onward and upwards, let's go. So we're just heading into this gill now, and looking at it, it looks like it's gonna get steep again. It's good to know we've got running water here. So I've got my light straw filtration bag thing, and so I think we're gonna be going off to the right up here. At the moment, still not sure how steep it's gonna get, but looking at the contours on the map, I think we're just gonna, there's a little path down there that takes you over that way, but we're gonna be going up this warm path up here, just to the right of this gill. Looks like it opens out, and you can see some trees growing as well, so that's a good sign. Looks like it's going to level off a little bit after this. Oh, yeah, this just keeps on giving. We've got this other steep section here. Oh, if anyone's not feeling fit to get up a fell, I wouldn't recommend this route up here. This is certainly a push. When you look on OS maps, this path here is just like a little tiny dotted path. So basically it's a climbers route, I would call it, maybe. Certainly wouldn't recommend for a leisurely walk. We've got rocky routes. This path has been put in as access into the fells. Nothing like going up like Skidder or Carrock Bells or anything like that. There's no phone signal in these gullies here. You are literally going up the side of a mountain. And we're still yet to figure out if we've got somewhere to camp. There's two things that'll stand in the way of this, and that's too many rocks, too much wind, too much exposure, and other people camping. Obviously, on the top of these fells, this is kind of your low line, and suddenly you're hit with steep inclines. So, but there's other ways up Carrock Fell, which are much easier but longer. So I kind of chose this route knowing it was going to be a bit of a scramble, but it was going to get me up quick. I don't know if there's going to be anyone else up here or if there's going to be somewhere to camp. It's funny because you can still see the road. Sometimes when you're going up mountains, you can't see the bottom because you've gone off somewhere, wandered around somewhere else. But this one, it is just straight up the valley, straight up this bit here. It's looking like it opens up a little bit more. We'll have a look and see what height we're at. 1,400 foot. Look at the map. We've got 2,100 feet. So we've got 700 feet more to climb. Imagine climbing up the side of Latrig, literally up the side of Latrig, and you've got another Latrig to do. And again, you're going up the side of it. Hey, it's not all that bad. But I'd certainly not recommend this route. Look, you can see where I'm at now. A little bit wobbly on my feet today. Probably because I've been quite active all day. So I sat down this afternoon after being up the Skidder in the morning, started falling asleep, thinking, geez, I've got to go and climb another mountain. At that point I was considering not doing it, but I'm here now, and this is another reason why I'm doing these videos, to get me up and out, you know, give me that little nudge. Go out and have a bloody sleep on the mountains. You'll enjoy it. It gets your heart going, certainly does. Right, I'll bring you back in a minute. That is what I've climbed up, and that is where I've got to go now. So I think I've got the worst of it over. We're still climbing up though, but at least we're off that gully there. Just looking over here, and you've got another potential there. If there's nothing up on the top, I can certainly still drop down, but I think we're going to have to get going. That sunset is getting there. Right, I'm hoping that this fell is clear from any other people camping. Quite a lot of people go off to Bowscale around here. Bowscale Fell, Bowscale Tarn. It was one that William Wordsworth wrote about something to do with perpetual fish or fish that don't die or whatever it is. You can read it on the internet. But this one struck my interest with the fort. And again, this is not a high fell compared to your sort of Scar fells and stuff. But the fells around here tend to have grassier tops. So I'm hoping the bit that I've seen is going to be not taken and I can have it myself. Got this low-lying mist coming in. You can see this isn't the top here. Looking at the map, we've still got a little bit to go, so I'm thinking it's this little bit of rocky stuff, and then we're going up over the top, and then I think we're going to be in the cloud at that point. Just having a look at, not that the camera can pick much up, but I think this is the last we're going to see of the views. I was hoping this little bit here where it levels off would maybe be a backup plan, but it's looking like it's too rocky and there's no level spots, so we're going to have to go up to the top, and if there's someone there, there's someone there, we'll just have to camp next to them, eh? Right, this is what we've got now. Such a lovely clear day down there, and then we've got this. The wind is picking up a little bit as well, but we're still a few hundred feet off the summit. So glad I took this. Thought it was going to be a clear night and I could just follow my nose, but we're following the Garmin. So far I've seen nothing to camp on. It's just been all rock, but I'm hoping that we get around this corner and there's something there, and hopefully no tent on it. It's quite a little sort of spooky place, this. There's the top. I think the first thing we're going to do is find a camping place. We've got potential here already, right there. I'm going to walk all the way around and have a look. This is just all rock here. Got rocks pretty much everywhere. So I think there's going to be no view today. I'm going to take a little wander around here. This is definitely not what it looks like on the pictures. Obviously the top is the same, but it almost looked like it was all level and you could camp anywhere near the top. Got a nice little place to hide, but we'll just have a little look over here. I think this is going to be probably the only place we can go. So where I said initially, looking over that way, I think this is going to be where we're stopping tonight. This little section here does look with the dried grass that potentially other people have been camping here, but I think that right next to the summit is going to be our one. Oh. I think we're going to get the jacket on first before we do anything else, just so I can concentrate on pitching this tent and not get too cold. You always say shelter is the first thing you should do, but obviously getting a warm jacket on, getting a warm jacket on is obviously a thing to do as well. So going to move a few rocks around. I think this might be the one, potentially over here. This little bit. I mean, it's getting dark and misty at the same time, so not quite head torch, but we're getting there. And this will get us used to our winter camps as well. Setting up in the cold, in the dark, in the wind. Okay, I think we're going to go scrap that. We're over here. We're going to go right here now. Right, let's get in. Oh, look at that. We're up. Look at this weather, eh? Got a little dip. If I'm going anywhere, I'm taking this. At least we know we're right up at the top. In fact, we do have a geocache very close. While we've still got a bit of time. This will give us some information. This geocache, tent's there and the top's there. Like I say, I don't want to be going too far off the track. Let's just pop down here. Top's just up there. It's getting dark. It looks like we're close. Bit of geocaching. Right, known geocaches. Is this going to be the latest find of a geocache? Right, you know what, we'll come back to this in the morning. I'm going to get back up there. It's getting too late and the mist's getting in. Get in the tent, get a light on, get some food. Right. Whoa. Yeah, there's definitely no one up here tonight. There might be some people camping over on the other side there, but I've got the summit pitch. Definitely. You know, I still haven't been up here yet. Let's get up to the top. See, just behind us we've got this little thing, so if this tent suddenly goes, we can still seek shelter. Actually, this is one well built top. Look at that. And then you can hide from the wind here, sit down, do whatever you want. Right, well, I'm going to go over there and do what I want. I'm going to get in that tent. Oh. Right, there we go. This is that little built up thing. There's my tent. Oh, I haven't said good morning. Been up for about an hour, just sort of playing around in the tent, what have you. I thought I'd come out and have a look at the view before it disappears. And yeah, so that's where I came from. And this is the plateau of Carrock Fell. And there's the top. So I think I couldn't have got a higher pitch. I mean, I could have went there, but couldn't have got a better one either. You know, to get these views. It's a nice little fell. I am toying with the idea of walking off down that way. There is a path that goes that way. But I'm going to get back in the tent get organised and work out a way to come off here that's probably a bit easier than going off the front there, but I'm quite happy to go down there. I'm going to see if I can find this geocache as well. I'm going to go and grab the sat nav and we'll have a look at this geocache. So this fort, when you look on, when you look on the map, it says the fort is just like there. But when you look at the actual sat nav, there's this kind of walled. So I believe that this part here, it goes right along, is part of the fort. I think it's a lot bigger than what the map says. The map says it's like a little tiny thing up there, but it's right round. So pretty much I'm camped at the sort of west wall. So the summit is kind of the west wall of the fort. And the geocache was over here somewhere. Carrock Fell Hill Fort. I'm wondering if this was kind of part of the fort. The geocache, the good thing about geocaches is that they do tell you, the description. Right, I didn't want to give it away, but there's the geocache. So I'll put this back and I'll come back to you. Right, so reading up about this fort, no one really knows because it's so old, and it is right about it being ringed around the top of the fell. And when you look at, I'll put a picture in of it, and when you look at it, it's quite a large fort. I mean, like I say, I'm on the sort of west side, and the east side of it's not even this section, it's down, let's have a look, it's down there, maybe 200 metres across. I'll see if I can show you on a picture anyway. But yeah, there's definite man-made structure. And I wish I'd really thought about this one. This is maybe one to come back to in summer, and at night we can have a little walk around and check out the walls of this fort. So that's obviously the collapsed wall. This bit's a bit wider, so I'm wondering if this has been pushed up and moved open or whatever, I don't know. But look, there is a bit up there that you can see. It was definitely a man-made wall. Let's go up and have a look there. Just going up to the wall, so you can definitely see here, this is definitely been man-made. Okay, so this is definitely part of the wall. And you've got, I think this has been natural rock. So they've just kind of built this arch here just to, so that will be your keystone. Built this arch up so they can support the rest of this wall. And it's made like a little indentation in the wall. So this is the top of where I was looking at just before. We're kind of stood on the wall. Kind of see the little stones in the middle. So this is the top of that wall, and this is literally 20 metres from where I'm camped. Right, I'm going to go back into my little fort and get some food on. We're going to have some breakfast, and then we'll make a decision of how we're going to walk off here. It's almost live. Pouring this, pouring that. And I think we're on about 5 minutes. While I've been doing that, I've packed away my sleeping bag and my little pillow. I'm going to get this poured in here. Rest out. Wait for this to cool down. And while that's doing that, I can stir my brew. Right, so that was someone up there. I've just been outside talking to them. Surprising when you see someone in a tent, you always feel like, I don't know, you don't want to approach them, but I'm quite fine being approached by people. Right, so I've had my breakfast and I thought I'd get packed away. I've literally done everything, packed everything I can. I've done something slightly different which I'll show you. I'm just making sure everything is packed because I'm going to start throwing everything in my bag now. That's my little backup water filter, live straw, if I ever need it. So in there I've got my sleeping bag and basically all my downs. My down jacket's about there. My sleeping bag's crushed into the bottom, and then my down trousers as well. That just, is it going to fit lengthways? Let's have a look. Yeah, so that just fits in the bottom there. Just. That's the bag I had my down trousers in. So I'm just trying to sort of pack everything down. When I came up here, I didn't have my trousers and my... no, I had my trousers in there, but I didn't have my jacket in there. But I just wanted to see if it fits. That's all my my cooking, or my kitchen, I suppose you could say. That's my chair. My... so, where's it at? Yeah, so what I'm trying to do is try and obviously have them in bags, but have things in less bags, so when I'm taking them out I know where everything is. So that's something happened about that. So that's my roll mat, the little pump, and my pillow. That's a little bug. Waterproof. That's my little waterproof jacket. That's all the rest of my food and eating utensils and things like that. Battery bank. This is my odds and sods bag. So I've got things like toilet roll and little midgie net thing. Things that you would normally forget. Something else in there? Oh, my shovel. So, toiletries. My little mat, I always wonder whether I should take that or not. But it always comes in handy. This is one thing that not many people sort of say about. These Life System ones, they come in a pre-made bag and quite cheap as well. I would show you what's in there, but it's so packed tightly that I'll just, and what I do is I leave that accessible on an outside pack. That's my platypus water carrier. And what have we got? That's the I think that I used to wipe my stuff with. Little. And I've got my walking poles here. I didn't use them coming up. Sometimes when it's just steep and you've got the camera, it's best not to use them. So that's all kind of packed tightly down the bottom there. Got my electronics, which goes in the brain, in there like that. Then I've got my phone and my Garmin. Phone goes in the pocket and my Garmin clips on. Now I just need to make sure before I go outside my peg bag and pegs, and I don't know where my peg bag is. This seems to be a common theme, that I lose my peg bag. The trouble is it's black. I should maybe change it to a brightly coloured one. There we go. Or at least keep the pegs in it. So these are 6 spare pegs that I have, because I've used the MSR ones. I believe if you get the Solo Black edition, it comes with pegs very similar to the MSR ones, because they are good. So that's packed up. Let's have a peek outside. Misty as hell. Right, rookie error. Forgot to film. Thought I was filming, and I didn't film any of it. Forgot to press the play button and look. I think because it's that misty where the camera is, I can't see whether the red light's on or not. I just kind of wanted to grasp how misty it was, so I put the camera a bit further away than normal. Right, well, we're here now. There we go. That's where I was. Just avoided that little bump there. So, right, I'm going to go off this way. Right, so glad I've got this here, because I would have been going off really far off to the left there. But I'm going off down here. I mean, look, you can't even see the path. Right, down this way. That path over there, you can see, leads on to the sort of common, I suppose it would be called. And yeah, this one goes off back down to the roadside. It's funny, when I stopped doing all this sort of walking stuff and everything, and I started looking at backpack technology again, and you know, the frame bag was mentioned. My idea of a frame bag was an old orange Carrymore rucksack that my dad used to have, with an external frame that just stood out, and it sort of hung inside it, and I couldn't understand the idea of frame backpacks. And obviously technology's moved on in 40 years or whatever it was when that bag was made, and these things, sometimes you wouldn't even know it was a frame bag. This thing, the Atmos, not an Atmos, what is it? Exos. The Exos. It's a frame bag, but it's just a thin carbon pole, and you can see the technology that goes into it. And I was just sort of tightening it up there because I could feel a bit of weight on my shoulders, and sort of tighten the waist up, and you can really feel the benefits of a frame bag. And so my other bigger bag again is a similar sort of frame pole. This is a lighter weight one, and I will do some sort of comparison between the two eventually when I get my act together with my reviews. I mean, it does say in the title I do reviews, but I've done a lot less recently. I think mainly because I'm trying to use the products. I'm not getting anything free or given, so it's, you know, it's just basically what I've accumulated this year. So it's not an endless list to do reviews with. But again, I'm also a great believer in doing reviews of kit that you've used, you know, just not just set up in a garden or put on and tried on. This jacket, it took me a year, but I had this jacket about a year, and it took a while to do a review on that. And obviously, the more you use kit, the more you get an idea of what it can be used for. So this jacket is a Primer Loft or something similar. It's an Arc'teryx Proton. It's a kind of a breathable, not really waterproof jacket, but with it not being down, it's more suitable for wet environments. You know, it's all well and good, oh, I'll put a down jacket on and it gets wet and it doesn't work anymore. Whereas these things, they get dry quicker, and they still work. I'm just having a look. I seem to be going into this huge valley here, one that I've again never been up. Kind of doing the outlying fells close to roads, with a means to later on in my camping career. Again, if start getting money from YouTube, I can take a day out and get further into the hills. You know, it'd be lovely to spend a day wandering around here, videoing what I find. And again, these videos take time. So yeah, frame bags, I'm a new convert. I love them. And again, the technology is so much better than what they used to be. I think the poles used to be like as thick as your thumb. I mean, certainly I was a lot younger then, so they're probably as thick as my thumb then. But to me, it's almost like the external pole tent as well. You know, your typical A-frame tent, and I think Van Gogh Force 10 was like an old one. The name's been around for ages, but the iterations of the tents have changed throughout the years. It was a cloth tent. You didn't put the two together because it was so heavy that you wanted to split it between two of you. I mean, if you got a two. These days they say, oh, 2-man tent is for 2 people, you know, 1 plus bag and everything. Back then, a 2-man tent, you made it a 2-man tent because you couldn't carry the whole thing by yourself. They weren't bigger or smaller, you just fitted in them. You just, you know, used your bag as a pillow. I mean, I'm talking like I'm from the 70s, but I was a scout in the 80s, and obviously the gear that scouts use, they're always a little bit older, and yeah, so we were using gear from the 70s. Right, that's better. Right, this path down here is much easier. Yesterday when I was talking about going up there, up the front there, and certainly wouldn't recommend it to anyone that's inexperienced in hill climbing or got a fear of any sort of height. But coming up this way, so much easier. I think we're looks like we're dropping down to either a plateau where there's some sheep and the path levels off. I mean, it doesn't look like the path levels off too much. In fact, yeah, it does. It levels off for a little bit and then goes further down. And then you can see the roadside is just basically over there in the distance. And there's a path with a couple just walking down. This is a path we're going on. which takes it round, and then you've got this big expanse of a valley I've never touched, and would like to certainly, I mean, coming up there looks like there's some potential camping places. I keep saying this in my videos when I'm doing these ones, when I'm not in the lake. I'm not in the lakes, I'm in the lakes, but I'm on the edge where you've got this sort of flat expanse. It's still beautiful, you know, it's still something about these rolling valleys, these long sort of sweeping, I mean, that is an absolute bog mine, bog fest, I think I call it. When I say bog fest, my son's, he always says that, you know, I've just made this word up, and bog fest probably is, I don't know. But maybe came from a festival somewhere that was boggy. So you've got this sort of track here, and it continues going up. I'm wondering if this was the main route up to the fort or something, because it's a lot wider track. I mean, obviously that path going straight up was put in a bit later. Yeah, it makes sense coming straight up here and then carrying on. If you're dragging a cart up here with a horse, it's going to struggle to get up. I mean, obviously they had to get all them stones up there, and back then there was no such thing as animal cruelty, because they used their horses and obviously looked after them, because why would you want a weak main horse when you know, a strong healthy horse is going to work harder, do a lot more. So it looks like that path I pointed out before where that couple was, I thought they were sort of walking from the from over the other side, but it looks to me like this is the path that I've got to take as well. So it does take me out there, but being flat, it's going to be a lot easier and a lot quicker. I was hoping it would cut across a bit more to the right there, but it does go over there. But looking at it, it does look very boggy on that side as well. You just see all the grass growing. You can tell where bogs are just by what's growing there. Just met up with them two people. It was two fellas from Colbeck, so literally lived just over there, and he knew a lot about this place. And you know, this part's national park, the other bit over there is owned by somebody else, and yeah, it's and then we had a good old chat about wild camping, and you know, obviously they didn't mind me. They're not going to say it shouldn't be wild camping and stuff. They obviously know I know the rules to abide by. I know the rules to break as well. I say that because, you know, we always say that wild camping isn't strictly legal. Well, it isn't legal, but there's local kind of bylaws, and the national park say that you know, if you're going to do wild camping, do it this way. So that kind of gives you the inkling to sort of think, well, they're allowing it, but they don't want masses of people. You know, they say about stopping and smell the flowers or smell the roses or whatever it is. I just stopped for a minute just to sort of take in what I've got. You get all too used to, I suppose, where you live. And there's nothing like coming back to nature. So if you live in a city, I mean, I live in what everyone says a picturesque town, a lovely place, but you still get used to it. It's very busy and hustle and bustle, and there's nothing like listening to a river or just coming to a quiet place and just taking a moment. Just, you don't have to think anything. You can worry about stuff if you want, but it's just, this will all be here next year, the year after, hundreds of years to come. And You won't. I won't. So we have to take our little slice and just embrace it. I mean, look, there's wild horses up there. We've got a nice brook, river, gorgeous sort of picturesque place. I mean, I don't really put my emotions across on camera. Maybe that'll come with experience and me talking to the camera a bit more. But, I mean, some people do, and I find it harder to do that. And I'm sure a lot of other people do on camera. I mean, you get some people don't even talk on camera. It's taken me a while. I've done it before. I used to do a daily vlog when Casey Neistat was a thing, and I was all over that. But it kind of filtered out in my life. I wasn't ready for it. But this is certainly becoming what I love doing. Okay, that was another successful wild camp up Carrock Fell, Hill Fort. We're down on the roadside now, walking back, and look at this. This is a classic example of Lake District. Up there, not Lake District. There, Lake District. It just goes from sort of flat rolling hills straight into mountains. And it is like that too. Right, well, that's been Lost in the Lakes, and we'll see you in the next one.